What's up, guys? Mailman Sui here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always. This is going to be part of a variety arc on a new channel. I'm going to do a review here for The Last of Us 1. If one game deserves a review, it certainly is this one. And yes, I am this late onto this game. Original released in 2013, I believe, on PlayStation 3, and since then you've had not only a sequel, but you've had a remaster of this game, you've had a remake of this game, even the second one has had a remaster. And I'm currently playing the second one, but I finished the first one, a week ago, maybe longer. So I've had time to contemplate the ending, right, and the story. So again, I played the remake, and I just have to say immediately that it's not often a game lives up to hype the way this game does. I've heard of this game, you know, ever since its release, everyone says it's one of the best games ever made. So again, I played it for the first time a week ago, the remake, and I'm a pretty critical person. You know, I'm 40 years old. I've seen a lot. I would like to say I'm pretty cultured, and still, you know, I play this game and I'm like, this game is flawless. So I'm gonna say straight up that this is a 10 out of 10 for me. It is absolutely one of the best games I've ever played. Honestly, I couldn't even think of flaws. Yeah, you would have to nitpick to the point where it's like, well, maybe you don't like story-heavy games. Maybe you want more action and gameplay, because at certain points, this game, it's like, you know, you're walking and it's characters talking. So if you're not super engaged in the story, maybe that could be seen as a drawback, but that's honestly all I can think of. I've also heard some people say that the gameplay doesn't feel rewarding enough, or there's not too many mechanics, it lacks depth. But to me, I'm like, I really enjoyed the gameplay. Running around as Joel, and at times as Ellie, and just dispatching bad guys, you know, other people, or clickers, fungus zombies, and, you know, collecting loot. Running down these super detailed environments, like throwing bricks in people's faces, the stealth. I thought the AI was impressive. I thought the gameplay was amazing. But just to break it down, one of the best stories I've ever seen in a video game, with the bravest protagonist I think I've ever seen. And I don't mean that Joel is a brave man. What I say is that the devs and the writer and director, they put in a protagonist that you, let's just say, don't see very often. Like, Joel is, brutal. Now, it fits in the world he's in and the setting. You know, it's a post-apocalypse. I think like 80% of the world's population has died to the new zombie virus. It's not the T virus like Resident Evil. It's the fungus virus. I don't even remember what it's called. It has a specific name. But so like 20% of population is still there, and everything is destroyed. There's no infrastructure. Obviously no internet, bad for us gamers. And everyone's just trying to survive. Can we find food? Can we find weapons? And constantly, of course, like, there is situations where other survivors want to kill you to take your loot, take your stuff. And as you can see here, it gets brutal very quickly. And Joel is no different. My God, is he shaped by his very sad backstory, his past. It's like his soul. I don't know if I want to get into spoilers. You know what? It's such an old game. You know what? I'm gonna go into spoilers. It's such an old game. To be honest, even if you haven't played this game, you might know the story, right? So his daughter, the game starts with the outbreak of a virus, and his daughter dies. And it's a super sad moment, obviously. Even though you've only known Joel for a few minutes, it still really hits you in the gut, because, you know, it's not often you see a child die, get shot in media. You know, it's very disturbing stuff. But also, it's just impeccably acted, and the cinematography and the expression in Joel's face, it just feels very real. It is just impeccably well done in terms of a dramatization. So you really feel that. And then it's 20 years later, and it's the apocalypse, and all humanity Joel has is just gone. You can see it in his eyes, you can see it, you hear it in the way he talks. the way he conducts himself, like he is an empty husk. He is a shell of a man, and he's just in survival mode, and he is brutal. Like, he'll kill people, he won't think twice. And this feels pretty realistic considering his backstory and the environment he's in. It's literally kill or be killed. That's the world they live in, and you feel it in TAS, you feel this, it's a very, very gritty and grey everything. The setting really, really works. And from there, like, the story builds, of course, he meets this girl, Ellie, he has to protect her, she might be the key to humanity's survival, overcoming the virus, and then it's basically him getting attached to her, she becomes like a pseudo-daughter, a new daughter, someone to care about, he becomes happier, he has a purpose in life again, and then it's basically the ending. And I'm gonna get into it, because this is where it's also a big controversy regarding the game and different takes on it, but the world is full of memorable characters like Tess, Bill, some of the Firefly characters, Tommy, of course, Joel's brother. You really like the characters. Everything feels real. The voice acting is like none other, and the visuals, like it's probably the best looking game I've ever seen. Not only the characters, their expressions, their models, textures, everything, but like the constant, like the lighting, cinematography, the level design, the world. I feel like I'm in a real post-apocalyptic world. And I'm just, it felt like Elden Ring, where I'm constantly pausing to just look around at the environment, and I'm just constantly in awe. I constantly, when I played, had to stop and just look at the scenery. I run up to a square or a harbor, and I'm just like, it's just so beautiful. The guys at Naughty Dog, like, hats off to them. They know what they're doing. It's just, everything looks so good. It's so beautiful, and it's technical state of the art. Even from a technical standpoint, like, graphics, it's just so good looking. And all the sound, the score is perfect. The gameplay, I thought, was super engaging and fun. I thought I was really trying to survive. The only downside to the gameplay is that towards the midway point of the game, it felt a bit too John Wicky. Like, you're killing a million people. Now, you can play stealth, but I mean, by God, it's at the midway point, it feels like there's an infinite amount of, like, militia, evil gang guys, and you just gun them down. So that felt a bit like out of place, like, am I John Wick? But it's a small nitpick. It's just a very small section. And of course, as I tried to tell you, the story with its characters, the setting, the backstory, it is fantastic. But I do, with everything said, the real, why the game is so good, it basically boils down to Joel, I think. And how interesting his story is, and his arc throughout the game, with the climactic ending, which is such a brave ending for a AAA video game. When I saw this, I couldn't believe what they were doing, what Joel was doing. I was like, my God, this is how you end your game? Like, Joel straight up becomes a villain. And that's, of course, where a lot of people have different points of view. In my opinion, he is absolutely a villain by the end of the game. But there's a lot of people who, like, really like Joel. Like, oh, he's my dad. Oh, he's the greatest. He's protecting Ellie. And I feel like maybe they self-insert themselves into Joel or into Ellie, and he's the ultimate protective dad. So there are different points of view, but it's like, to me, it's objectively a villain by the end. I'm going to talk a little bit about it, but what carries the game and makes it one of the best games ever, it's everything I've mentioned. It's flawless. Everything is flawless. But Joel as a character, his arc and everything he goes through and how human he feels. Everyone feels human in the game, but Joel, everything there is to do with him and his arc, it's one of a kind, I have to say. There are a couple of comparisons I think that can be made, but I almost think of Joker a little bit. And again, I'm not saying that Joel is Joker. Obviously, he's not. But the way Joker's arc works in the Todd Phillips movie of 2019 is basically they really want you to relate to him and feel sorry for him. And that's what they do with Joel. That's the start of the game. His daughter dies. And you feel he's a good guy, and like, my God, you're heartbroken for him. And that's what Todd Phillips' Joker does. It's like, it starts by building him as a down on his luck protagonist. Everything goes to hell. He's robbed. He's beaten by dudes. Everyone abuses him. And he has nothing. He's basically like an incel, lives with his mom, and he's dreaming of being a comedian. And you feel for him. And with time, people who oppress him, he gets vengeance on them. And you go like, yeah, you go, Joker, or Arthur Fleck. You go, man. But with time, he starts doing more and more irredeemable, like truly evil shit. And the movie's sort of testing you like, well, we gave you that initial bond to this character, but do you stand behind him now? And now, and now, and now. And I feel the exact same thing about The Last of Us 1, how it's like, they really want you to relate to Joel. He feels like a human, and you really feel for him with his super sad backstory. But with time, he will do more and more like straight up evil shit. And then it's like, well, can you still stand behind him? And, well, now I'm just going to go to the ending. I'm almost done with my review here. But basically, the ending of the game is the Fireflies, which are like supposed to be like the good guy militia that's, I guess, trying to do some good things. They try to like save the world, and like there's a possibility of a cure in Ellie. So that's why Joel is escorting her throughout the entire game. He's forced to do so. Initially, he's reluctant. He's like, fuck this. He's an empty husk of a man, but then he gets to know Ellie, and, he loves her, and she's like, she's the reason he wants to live on, basically. He becomes a person again. So from beast to man. He gets his life back, you could say. He's been soul dead for so many years. But so she is immune. She's been bitten by a monster zombie, and she has not turned. And it's been multiple weeks, I think it is. So she could be the cure to humanity. The Fireflies are like, we could extract her brain. This would kill her. But then we can remove the tissue. And through that, we can get samples of her immunity. And potentially we can create a vaccine or a cure that could save humanity. And that's like 20% of the population left. So, I mean, it can't be put into words how big this is, significance-wise to the story. And here, they take Ellie, and they don't tell her this. So there's already... The entire story is just moral gray zones. It's just moral gray zones. So the Fireflies want to do this. And she's just a little girl, right? And they're not going to tell her that they're going to kill her. Because they feel, well, we're going to save humanity. What's one life here? We're going to save humanity, right? It's just moral gray zones, this game and its story. And then they tell Joel, yeah, we're going to do this to Ellie. She is going to die. Joel is like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Ellie is... She's the reason I love Ellie, and she's the reason I want to go on. So he kills everyone. He kills everyone there, the Fireflies, including their leader and the surgeon who does the procedure. Everyone to save Ellie. And in very nice imagery, he walks out with Ellie unconscious. And so basically he dooms humanity. He kills countless of people. Just brutalizes them because he wants to save the person he cares about. So it's like, yeah. And then afterwards, he... if this wasn't like irredeemable enough, afterwards when Ellie wakes up, he lies to Ellie. She says, what happened? I thought I was going to help the Fireflies. And Joel just says, oh, you know what? There was no big deal. They got other people that can help them. They didn't need you. All good. Let's just go on. He lies to her. And then she even says, do you swear it's true what you're telling me? Do you swear that it's true? And he's like, I swear. So he's only motivated by selfishness. If you truly love someone, in my opinion, you don't lie to them. And you allow them also not only to know the truth, but to make their own choices, right? He denies her that because he selfishly just wants to keep her to himself. So the immorality of his actions, it's like there's so many layers to it. She is the sole reason he wants to live and go on. But to selfishly keep her, he doesn't mind corrupting the very essence of that relationship, right? So he's completely self-serving all the time. Me, I want. So the more I've thought about this ending, it's like, it's almost like Joel, in a way, almost goes like, I'd rather kill, 1 million people than die myself. Because by lying and corrupting his relationship to Ellie and denying her the truth, it's like it's completely self-motivated by self. It's completely selfish. So he cares about having gotten his life back again and what Ellie does for him. And the way he kills everyone is so unbelievably brutal. But I found it completely shocking. I'm just like, this is the protagonist of a AAA game. And then as you learn more about Joel, you also know that during those 20 years of survival, he did awful shit. Absolutely awful shit, like murdering other survivors just to steal their loot. Just setting traps for other survivors, killing them. Like, he's just the most irredeemable shit. The most irredeemable shit. So that's why, in my opinion, he's very clearly a villain. But a fantastic villain in that he's very human and you understand his motivations to doing the most despicable, irredeemable shit. And that's going to be that's one of the best games ever made as far as I'm concerned. Impeccable. You really have to nitpick to find the downsides to this game. I guess the last thing I want to touch upon is like this awful black and white, I think fanboys on the internet, how they talk about this game and like how if you don't like Last of Us 1, they hate you. Like people have very strong opinions on this game, and that's the beauty of the ending. It's open to a lot of interpretations. So if I have a certain interpretation and you dislike my interpretation, you don't have to hate me as a person. I feel like this game has a lot of people going a bit insane in their takes. And there's also a lot of people are like, they see Joel as this hero, Jesus-like figure. Like, oh, he didn't do anything wrong. Of course, he would do the same thing. Like, he wants to protect like, she's not his daughter, but that person means a lot to him. Of course, he's going to kill all of those people. But I'm just like, you only need 1 second to stop to think that, what about all of the people Joel has killed? Do they not have a right to live? Do they not have relatives and friends and maybe sons and daughters? Don't they have their own Ellies? How many Ellies has Joel murdered to keep his Ellie? But the reason you don't think about that is because the game very intentionally presents Joel and Ellie as the lead characters, and the entire playthrough is spent with them, so you heavily sympathize with them. But all of those fireflies, all of the other characters Joel kills, they don't have a name, they don't have a backstory, so out of sight, out of mind. It's just due to the same principle you can see John Wick murder 500 people because they killed his puppy dog. What? A couple of 3 guys killed his puppy dog. Of course he can now go out on a genocide and kill 500 people. But if you do stop to think about that, you go like, well, maybe that's not so wholesome that John Wick kills 500 people. But Hollywood writers rely a lot on that thing that most people who who watch a medium like a movie or read a book or play a game like this, you don't think twice about the no-name characters getting killed or dispatched. But they're also humans, right? They probably also have people who care about them. So they have their Ellies. That's the whole point to the story, is that just to keep my Ellie, I'm gonna kill your Ellie. Or maybe 1,000 of your Ellies. That never makes sense. As soon as you do that, you have condemned your own fate. Now you will die. You will be killed. That's the whole point. So it's basically, you know, an eye for an eye. But it's also nice to see that a game can even stir up such debate, right? But tells you again about the fantastic story of the game. But yeah, that's going to conclude my review. One of the best games I've ever played. A very justified 10 out of 10. And as soon as I'm done with Last of Us 2, I'm going to post my review on that game. But thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.